enclosed headphones. Let's go where we were, as they say. I just feel so sweaty. It's take a while to open our file here because it's got so much information. I was working on it a bit, actually a lot yesterday, into the night, because I just got in that mode, you know. I was feeling it, which is cool. We're listening to Go Right. Or Go Forward. Go On. It's a pretty faithful recreation of a Streets of Rage track. Who's that? It looks like Brianna. Definitely is Brianna. Definitely. So here we are. Listening to this podcast makes me want to make chip tunes. Maybe I'll do that one of these days. Let's reload chat here. Get a star. So what I was doing, it was kind of the same thing I was doing with other models. Finding designs in the geometry that make this a little bit more amazing than it actually is. And we're going to cover some of those things up later on. Let's see. I guess I only really have... Oh, hi, Slip. What's up? Try again later, my dude. I like Power Dog. Also, I have Discord open. For those of you who want to join in chat, you might be able to pull that off. Be my friend on the internet. Oh, I could talk about our voyages from yesterday. We should start singing about these voyages. We've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves around here. For no good reason. Mostly because it's a good game. I'm a fan. And the neat thing about it is Sea of Thieves, that is, I should say. I can get edges. Wrong selection mode. Sea of Thieves. We've been playing Sea of Thieves as much as possible. Mostly to scare our enemies away. Okay, so that's only gonna go so far. Man, my mesh looks like a mess. You know, I was into it yesterday. Today I'm less into it. But you know what? I'm gonna try and be more into it today. What a mess. What a mess. What a dump. Just yeah. Sweet. So got all of those going around to some extent. Maybe I'll do the same thing on this side. Just kind of give me these 4 loops. On the whack, I keep tabs like Timothy Leary and or as cap. I can see where a lot of these edge loops are ending, so I actually kind of want to take advantage of that. This is just not a bad method. I was selecting kind of face by face. For some sections, that's reasonable. For some sections, that's unreasonable. I'm just gonna kind of walk it on through. We'll see what I think about it when we're done. Keep on going. Because I do want to create like borders of materials. And we're almost done with like the biggest parts. So that's good. Let's listen to. So I was trying to use a better mic. Uh,
Yeah, same here, same here. If I were to offer maybe, oh yeah, I was gonna say
wow. We
if
are
I were to
totally
maybe offer one or
delayed.
two minor things, I would suggest maybe um, lowering lowering the volumes of maybe both the chord and the melody to bring out that bass line more. I felt like in certain parts the bass line was sort of being drowned out by the chords and melody, and I like to hear that more. It provides sort of like a driving back and forth to the track. Um,
Basslatonic is really quiet.
yeah.
Let's turn it up.
Mm-hmm.
Power Dog, we just heard your track.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. One of the things you could do to mask something like that is if you had chords in the background on your pulse channels at a very small volume, like only one or two, and I think that would help to sort of mask that sort of dissonant sound you have. Or you could maybe go. I think you can also sort of go through the bass and maybe try to pick notes along the arpeggio line that would make it sound less dissonant when being played back over that section. Yeah, exactly. Like you could double it up. I'm not sure if you were doubling it up on the saw channel or not, but you could definitely do that. If you are using BRC6 chip in this, I'm not even sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, well, most of the people when covering something in Family Tracker or on any of the expansion chips, they will do the entire composition inside of Family Tracker. I know of a couple people that will actually write down like the patterns and stuff before they transcribe it into the program, but it's pretty rare that anyone will actually like record part of a melody in Audacity and lay that over a Family Tracker track. Usually, if someone's going to do something like that, they'll just use a different tracker, such as Modplug tracker or something similar.
I hear
But
mod plug's good. I've never used it.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's 2A03. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, and
I respect that.
yeah, and that's like you said, it's one of the aesthetics of it. It's the idea of taking a relatively restrictive sound chip and trying to get the fullest sound out of it that you can. And I think it takes a lot of practice, but if you listen to productions from like one of the things I like about Family Tracker is you can listen to a production, or at least I can, and I can sort of tell um, which productions are more skilled than others, which can sometimes be hard to do in traditional music. I think it's a lot more subjective. So that's one of the aspects of it that I enjoy, I suppose you would say.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not versed enough. Like I just listened to most of Chibitek's work last week during
Oh
during
yeah,
the
yeah,
stream,
yeah.
and her work is incredible, but it's so beyond my ability to perceive the
Hmm.
limitations of Family Tracker
Hmm.
that like I'm not even sure what she's overcoming at some point, right?
Oh yeah.
Where even for things like what happens here with this track, right?
Hmm.
Um, where the echoes and kind of these filter sweeps, these
Hmm.
effects that are also alongside the music, like
Hmm.
that is still pretty sensitive and like what's the word I'm looking for? It's very fine work, right?
Yeah.
It's a very detailed craft to go in tick by tick and make that echo believable.
Oh, it definitely is. You know, you can't just apply a filter to it to create
Still
the
pretty
effect. You
quiet.
have to
All right, I'm gonna get up and turn it up for
do
you.
a lot
Hold
of
on.
sort of technical wizardry with it in order to make it sound believable.
Yeah,
And I
two
think, yeah, sorry, continue.
I was just say like two voices or whatever, like
Hmm.
having your echo happening behind a melody that's happening in the same track, right? When
Yeah.
you're switching instruments, like that's a cool thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of it's about fooling your listener into thinking they're hearing something that's more advanced than it actually is. You know, something that is more full and has more voices than it actually does. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people like to use stuff such as arpeggios or
Okay.
loops, because you can play
Well,
like you can have like four notes in an increasing pattern, and it'll sound like all four notes are playing, even though it's sort of in an arp. You know, it's only on one channel, but you can make it sound like a four-note chord is playing, which is it's neat.
I need to get back into that. I'm really inspired by these things to give Deflomask or Family Tracker another
Oh
shot.
yeah, I mean,
Really dig in for a couple weeks.
yeah, yeah. It definitely takes a lot of practice though to get anywhere close to where like I would say the best people in the community are. Of course, some people pick it up faster than others, but like for me, it took me 3 years to get you know as proficient with the program as I am now, and even I'm not even close to some of the people in the community. Or I mean, I'm not close to many of the people in the community. I still think my music sucks.
This is the curse of the creative. It's going to take your whole life to meet your ambition.
Yep.
But Powerdog's been producing a lot of really cool stuff lately, like visually and audio wise.
Of course, of course.
also, it could be that this section of the podcast is very quiet compared to the waveforms later on, like over here.
Puts in a lot of work,
Yeah, of course.
Good
So,
hustle.
thank you for stopping by, Powerdog, and thank you for having this track for us to review today. And to all
Thank
the
you,
folks at
Powerdog.
home, I'm sorry about that little tangent, but I think it was a great discussion nonetheless. Nah, it's all good. I like talking about this stuff. Maybe if I ever come on to do an interview, I'm gonna talk for like 2 hours about this stuff. It'll be neat.
Yeah, I'll have to get Sophie to interview you.
Yeah,
it'll work out.
It'll happen one of these days. Don't you worry. Okay. Pretty soon, probably. Okay. Well, I guess with that out of the way, we're going to move on to the last track of the day, and this is a track from Grin Fox, and it is called Bread and Stutter. And I have not listened to this yet, but I hear it's an electro-styled track, so I'm looking forward to it, Grin Fox, and we're just going to give it a listen here.
I can't turn it up anymore. Happy National Siblings Day. Nice. So this needs a line going up the side.
That was another excellent track by Grin Fox. Sort of like how we were talking about. Like
Hello.
How you yourself,
It's the
Ben,
Sophie.
Sort of. We're having problems like grasping the production techniques of like Family Tracker songs. The production techniques used in this are honestly far beyond me as well. I'm not exactly all sure what he did here, but
Welcome to the stream.
I fairly enjoyed it. It was well made, even if it's not necessarily the style that I would normally listen or compose in.
Yeah, I am touched by it. I'm not sure. Like, I'm really bad about genres. Yeah, I'm not sure what electro is, electro for real. But I think that kind of the texture and repetition and kind of like
I am listening to the podcast
entrancing,
just to terrify you because your voice is going to come on
very
probably
effective.
pretty
The
soon.
one thing that really stood out to me as a big plus for this song was like, and I think part of the feel that makes it difficult to grab like how the heck Grin Fox did it is like really expert like or like careful attention to the use of compression, right?
Oh yeah,
where each
sure.
sound has its own kind of its own space, and you know every transient has a whole lot of like sharpness to it. You know, it makes the kicks feel like they're really centered, and like the outside sounds like in the far stereo field. Like there's a huge difference there.
Well, it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Holy
Give
cow.
everything its own like space, even though it could be, you know, it could be a mono track for all I know.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It's very distinct. Like it's a really good work, and I'm curious definitely just to how it's done. Like I don't know if it's my experience of it, but does it seem like there's a lot of distant elements, right? The main line is really
it or it's sort of, you know, sort of like emotionally too, I would say. It's a very hard track for me to grasp, and I think one of the interesting things about Grin Fox as a composer is that his style is so unique and like it's so also so foreign to me, I guess you would say.
I hope your day is going well.
Really similar to it, and I think that's awesome. I want to experience more and more types of music like this. So
I wonder, like, what do we know about Grin Fox that illustrates the type of music that they produce? You know, I mean, they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
And are, you know, keeping us company.
Yeah.
And it's always a surprise.
What's going on Discord today?
Username. You're not like, oh well, you know, that's a really James Rogers thing to do, right? That's not like
nice.
Even though there's kind of excitement about that. But Grin Fox is kind of elusive to me, and the music
The worst headache
definitely represents that. I agree with you.
But You know, I really
My day
enjoy
is
it
going
nonetheless.
all
So
right. I feel
keep
like
doing
I
you,
kind of
man, and I'm
started a
gonna
little
keep
bit late.
listening. And I appreciate you submitting this track for me.
Whoa.
So
Winkmaker's got an auto
I don't
harp.
know. Do you have anything else to
That's
say?
pretty cool.
I don't know. It's quality stuff. It's great to hear progress. I check in as often as I can, and I'm just glad to be here and see this get better and more interesting. I'm glad that people
For
keep
sure,
submitting
for sure.
tracks and you keep interviewing people. It's really something.
Yeah, and I'm glad too. And I'm glad we can have more and more people on the show participating in this community of musicians that we've built up. It really is awesome.
Yeah, and whatever you guys are doing is working. It really makes me want to take another jump at making game music and get get involved. Like I hope that more people feel like I do and just want to get up and make music and show it to people.
Of course, and I hope the same thing. I do, because music is it's such like a universal experience. You know, I think anyone, regardless of
Dog tracks today. I think so.
or what they do, I think they can
Last
find
I
some sort of
checked.
enjoyment in it. Totally. And looks like that's going to be all the time we have for today. So once again, thank you so much, Ben Angry Crow, for coming on the show. And
my pleasure. Thank you.
And with that out of the way, we are going to move on to the second segment of the show, and that is going to be the community review with Sophie.
Oh gosh. All right, turn it off. Turn it off.
Hey everybody, you are currently listening to Basil Tonic's podcast. Basil Tonic emerged from a community of composers born from MintPotion's very own Discord server. On Basil Tonic, we introduce some talented up-and-coming artists. In this segment, I, Sophie, your current music noob, will be interviewing Joshua Tapali. This interview taught me a lot more about music and music theory in general. I'm usually overwhelmed when learning about certain aspects of music, but he really took the time to help
Stupid Sophie is a
try
champ.
and understand it a little bit
kills me.
more. Even after the interview, he was talking about tonicizing and tonics, and I was like, what is that? And he helped explain it. He broke it down for me, and I really appreciated that. Also, if you want to explore the world of music theory a little bit more, you can check out his YouTube page, Ongaku Concept.
What is it about hearing your own voice that is awful? I think it's because your head voice, like the way that you hear yourself, doesn't match the way that you.
Pretty okay.
Okay, awesome.
The way that you actually sound, I guess, is not the way that you think you sound. And I guess sometimes like the opposite happens. Like
I'm from Texas.
Okay, and are you in Texas
I feel
now,
like
or-
I sound
Yes.
Okay,
like a dork,
cool.
and it's true.
Austin or
Near Dallas, around there.
I want to say there's like a big music crowd there. Is there?
Yeah, in Dallas, I'm not so sure. I know Austin is like the music capital of Texas.
Okay.
There's a huge music scene in Austin, but I'm not so sure about Dallas. I don't really do much local music
I can say
stuff.
that there is a big
Okay.
music
Kinda
scene in
connect
Dallas.
on the web a bit more.
Okay, so you have you ever played an instrument or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a guitarist primarily. I play electric guitar, mostly rock stuff. But I play a little bit of piano. That's
So
about it, really.
guitar first and then piano? Is that how it went?
Yeah.
Did you start when you were really young?
No, I started playing guitar when I was 14.
Oh, that's cool.
Me too.
I'm 23 now. And as for piano, I haven't really practiced piano. What's the word I'm looking for? I haven't practiced it as an instrument that I would play on a regular basis. I kind of picked it up over time just out of necessity in order to make programming things easier when I'm writing music.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's getting
What
faster.
specifically? Like, if you can go into that a little more.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
I
Okay.
write about 99% of my music digitally. So I don't work with real performers. I work with with
So let's
digital instruments.
now go
And
into some more subtractive mode.
and so I can click those notes in
Where's
with
the
a mouse.
hypergraph?
But I can also play them in on a keyboard, and it's much faster to do it that way, and you can get
Hypershade.
more humanistic results by playing them in on a keyboard because it's easier to vary your timing and things like that. And so there's just a lot of advantages to being able to put notes in on a keyboard rather than with a mouse. And so I've learned a little bit of piano for that reason, just to help me program things a little bit quicker.
Do you still utilize piano for your music? Still, like, is it you didn't just like drop it and found it useless or something like that?
No, I still use it plenty.
Oh, okay, cool. So what software do you use?
So my DAW, which is a DAW, that's a digital audio workstation, is Logic Pro 10.
It's probably gonna take a while
Let's
to
see.
iterate.
I use a number of sample libraries, mostly from one of the primary libraries I use is something called X Sample Chamber Ensemble, which is
Ooh,
a
what's that?
library of acoustic.
But eventually,
acoustic
Sophie will get
instruments,
used
so
to
like
it. You just have
violins,
to,
cellos,
just gotta
things
keep
like that,
doing
rather
it.
than the bigger ensemble libraries that you'll find around. I prefer smaller ensembles, so I go for solo instruments generally.
So why smaller ensembles? What's the difference?
Yeah, that's a good question. So generally, with most orchestras, you'll find that like an orchestra has, it depends on the particular orchestra, but a lot of orchestras have, dozens to even hundreds of performers. The actual
Take your time.
amount of individual parts that are being written isn't really that many. It's just that you're doubling them up so much. So, for example, you might have a single violin part that's played at the same time by 16, 32 people, and the reason for that, well, there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of them is just to get
What did I
a
press?
richer
I pressed the
sound,
button.
a fuller sound, a more
Shoot.
grandiose, and that's very useful for film scores or very cinematic things that are very epic for lack of a better word. But I tend to
this thing working?
prefer smaller ensembles, so I might have maybe four people doubling a melody line, or just one soloist playing it, because there's probably a number of psychological reasons why I prefer that, but I think generally I just feel that a lot of the stuff that I want to express, or at least the manner in which I'm trying to express it, trying to go for a bigger ensemble it just feels like it's too much.
Top or
Yeah, over the top. That's a good way of putting it. That's just me. I'm seriously a minority in that regard. Most people prefer larger ensembles. So.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. Sorry about that. It's like
No problem.
You can hear it like going through the feed. Sorry, she's independent. So okay, so okay, I see what you're saying. It's
I see.
too much for what you're doing. It's a little over the top. Yeah, and that's really cool that you use a smaller ensemble. Well, I mean, I was listening to some of your music, and it sounds. I mean, it sounds like it. What do you call it? It tries to get out certain emotions from like the listener, and it doesn't feel like you're like going that extra like level of epicness. It's very like simple and nice. And...
Right. I'm not trying to like push something onto the listener exactly.
Is this thing on? Okay, good.
So
let's go to face. So I have those faces selected. Beautiful.
I
I wonder what happens if I shrink the selection.
Well, it's music theory that you focus on.
Ooh. It kind of creates this banding.
Videos. It was
Let's make this red.
Zelda score? I think we were talking about Zelda. And it was very thorough. You did a lot of research. What is it about music theory that draws you to it?
That's a good question. As for me, I wasn't particularly interested in music theory at first until I think this is probably the case for a lot of musicians. I wasn't particularly interested in it until I reached a point where there were certain things I wanted to do.
So design material
no idea how to do them.
Bond, I guess.
And so I needed to, take my knowledge a step up. So I started studying music
Alphabetizing.
theory. I took some guitar lessons for a few months from a jazz guitarist who, and I've taken guitar lessons kind of on and off throughout my life, mostly focusing on technique, but in this particular instance, I wanted to focus on music theory because I wanted to understand, some of the more complex stuff because I wanted to get those kinds of sounds, but I didn't know how. And so I came to him and I asked, hey, can you help me figure this stuff out? So we decided to start from the beginning, and he filled in some of the gaps in my knowledge of the basics of music theory, and that was kind of the end of our lessons. And then I was able to take that and build from there by studying music that I liked.
Build.
And so, as for
this is interesting, actually.
At first, it was just.
So I don't know if I'll use the same method for the next asset because it took forever to get this.
Potential knowledge that maybe I could.
I think I might do traditional paint.
And it was also just kind of fascinating. And now.
I wish I had like a Wacom or something.
And that's really partly why
I know there's one in the building.
Agaku Concept, which is my music theory channel. Partly why I started that was because I was learning all of this new information, and I wanted, to ramble about it to somebody, so I just made videos about it, put them on YouTube. But over time, I found music theory to be, well, the simplest way of explaining it is it's a way of putting words to the things that I'm doing. And so it's particularly useful to have a language for whatever it is that you're doing. Because there's a lot of things, because music is an abstract field. And so it's...
Okay, let's have a look at our bake setting.
There's some level of abstraction in writing as well. It's not like writing where you're working with the language that you already speak, and it's a little easier to get across what you're trying to do.
I guess we'll fix the maps up.
Music, you don't have that advantage, and so
Pirate Real Life is so. Yeah, this week, man, we were really suffering as pirates.
What you're doing, and it really, really helps organize the
export selection.
Okay. I feel like I'm slowly chipping away at my knowledge of music theory.
Put this on the desktop.
It's a big topic. It really is.
I feel like there's
I'm just gonna double check that.
I feel like there's not a way to describe. I feel like I have to.
Rooster, I love Rooster, man. Man.
It's hard. It's hard to find a place to start because there isn't really a specific place to start because you can. Because what music theory does is it describes, it puts words to musical actions.
So, give me this thing.
there's no one place to start
It's gonna
exactly.
take a while to
There's-
render this.
because there's
I
a-
should
a
probably
variety
like
of things
start
you
up a
can do
game or
musically. There's,
something because
harmonic information,
it's
which
gonna
is,
take a
you know,
while to get
notes,
this
things
right.
like melodies and chords and stuff like that. There is rhythmic
Do I have a
information.
preset
So,
by chance?
you know, just timing. That's the
okay.
time element. So there's the pitch
Okay, that's
element, and
cool.
that's harmonic. There's the time element.
I
and
don't
that's,
want to test all. Maybe I'll carefully
rhythm.
go through here
And then
and
there's and
get
that's something
some
that's,
good stuff
well, I'll say
going.
the third one. The third one's texture. In music, you
Output,
call it timbre, which is spelled
verbosity.
timbre, and that refers to so timbre is the difference. So you can play the
So
same
the
exact
targets
note on
are
a
still
piano
right.
and then play it again on a violin, and they
And
sound.
then I need
It's the
the
same
map
note, but it sounds different. That's because the timbres are different.
here.
The textures are different between those two instruments.
So is it maybe just
Illumination.
kind of
I gotta go
is it
into my options for illumination.
saying? Just
There's the primary difference in there's a big difference in texture between different instruments, yes, although you can vary the texture on a single instrument. So for example, a violinist could change the position of their bow to get a thinner or a thicker kind of sound when they're playing a single note. So those are kind of the three primary elements of music, and
I don't know what that
you
is.
can,
Oh no, this sends the
you can start
direction,
from
right?
either three of those.
Yeah,
and
no, I'm not gonna do
generally
that.
people start with harmonic information.
Interesting.
So it's kind of hard to find a place to start. You kind of just have to get into it, I guess. I feel like rhythm's pretty natural for a lot of people, so maybe that's why harmonic harmony is kind of the place that a lot of people start.
Sampling.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to start there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would assume rhythm would be the first thing because out of everything I notice, that's the first thing I notice in a song. I don't.
It's very innate.
Sorry.
It's very innate.
Yeah. Texture, I guess. Like I can sit there and be like, oh, okay. Like I know these instruments are being played. But is it kind of like texture? Is that kind of like when people talk, they have certain accents, even though they can speak the same language? Is that kind of the idea?
That's
And
one way
I
of
just
thinking
want to
about it,
know the general
I
settings
think
for
the
this
closer-
texture.
I mean, I guess it depends on how broadly you want to define it too, because there's
2K,
'cause
that's
there's also
fine. Let's put this in a reasonable location. Desktop,
I guess there's other
sure.
considerations as well, which is, for example,
battery.
the volume with which you play something. So something can be louder or softer. Yeah, I think that's.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to look into it. Sorry, I'm like making you talk about it, and you.
No problem. I love talking about this stuff.
Would you ever teach a class on it?
I think so. Yeah. I would like to try it. I don't know that teaching music theory works very well in a classroom setting. I feel like it's better on a one-on-one.
Oh, okay. So
but it
like kind of how you learned.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think like at least the basics.
Diffuse for
it's
sure.
Like, there's
Ambient, indirect.
music theory is such a broad topic.
I also need a normal map. That should be here. Albedo.
Like,
I really
once
don't
you get
need
past like the very basics.
this.
You kind of branch off in the directions of whatever is
What's up?
applicable to you.
Yeah.
No.
And so
No.
I think like at least as far as the basics go, I think
Monday
I think that could
probably.
be possible in a classroom setting.
He has that conference he's speaking at. Yeah.
So I looked at your some of your projects. Looking Glass of the Heart.
Yes, I like my cheesy titles.
Yeah.
Although I could be wrong.
Actually, I really like the idea.
I could send him a message.
I know that I was like, what is this? Is this gonna be like a
Let's bake.
It's a story that you read, but there's music to it, and I really like that.
An English exam.
Yeah. So did you do?
Was it super
everything? Did you
English?
do the book and then the music.
Yeah, I commissioned an artist to do the artwork.
Is that
and-
difficult?
and and
being an English
voice
speaker.
actors and things like that. But
Oh gosh,
all
look at
the
these
the
misses.
story
We're gonna fix
and
that
the
in
music was
Photoshop.
mine.
I am not
As
messing
well
with
as
this
the
not
I'm not a
model
writer,
anymore
not at all.
today.
I just see. So
That is a
basically, the
cool
way this
bit of
project
data,
started, the way
though.
Looking Glass started was I did a concept album
What is this
uh,
guy talking about?
in
Looking Glass?
2014,
What is this?
I think it was, and it was kind of just like a faux anime soundtrack. That was kind of the idea that I thought would be fun to do. And about a year afterwards, like I couldn't keep like the story out of my head. You know, I wanted to do something bigger with it, and so you know I kept thinking how nice it would be to like.
What is like
do
a
an
difficult
animation or something
English
like that,
question?
But, you know, I don't have anywhere near the experience
Oh,
or
that looks
time
pretty
or
good.
money or resources to pull off something like that. And so I kind of racked my brain for, you know, ways I could just get this story out because it was killing me to just not do anything with it.
Yeah,
And so,
I just have holes all over
I
this,
just
all
decided
over
on
this
writing
ding dong.
because, you know, I don't really have any experience as a writer, but I figured that's something that I've got the resources to do, and so I might as well give it a shot. But I'm really glad that I made that decision because it's been very fulfilling.
SoundCloud or in Basil Town. Oh,
really
that's a good
cool
point.
because, like most people, including myself,
Joshua.
I would sit there
All
and
right.
like, oh, I don't have like the resources. I just shouldn't do it. But you found a way around that, and that's
Holy
really
crap.
cool. You just went for it. That's
Oh,
awesome.
this is really? This person's in our community? I've watched their videos. Nice.
Random question. Why Ongaku concept?
Yeah, I remember this.
Because I'm really bad at coming up with names for things. So Ongaku
That's
is the
cool.
Ongaku is the Japanese word for music.
Oh.
So
You
Oh. Gotcha.
Ongaku comes from it's two words actually.
Render,
It means,
render.
I'm gonna flip that. So on means sound, and gaku means something along the lines of comforting. So comforting sound, something like that.
Okay. Okay. So it's to ongaku. So you can use like either one.
Yeah, it's a
soothing.
Well, a lot of Japanese words are combinations of are kind of. It's not quite the same thing as a compound word, but it sort of is. So.
Gotcha.
It's like a
But yes,
portmanteau.
that's the word for music. So I figure I talk about musical concepts, and and it generally related to Japanese game music and anime music. So
Sure.
Okay, that's cool. So going back a bit, you said in 2014, I believe, is when you wrote your
The martial arts.
album, or you composed your. How long have you been composing? Was that the beginning, or?
I've been. You could say I've been writing music since I started playing guitar, which was in 2009. But I never really wrote any finished songs or anything until 2012, early 2012. So I would consider my start as a composer in early 2012. But I will say that album that I did, the concept album is called In Wonderland, and so for Looking Glass, I took a lot of those songs and rearranged them for the Concept of Love, which is the proper soundtrack to that story. So doing that concept album in 2014 was like a real turning point for me as a composer. Like just having to, sit down in like a few months' time, put together this cohesive kind of series of songs, well, the only way to get better at something is by doing it. And so I figure I found that afterwards that it really taught me a lot of things just going through a project like that.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is that if, to anybody out there who is working on a creative craft, whether that's music or whatever, just find a way of doing it regularly for at least a certain span of time, and you'll see improvement.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect.
Perfect practice makes perfect. No, stop. I fucked up.
mean, why? I guess why
File not
did
found.
you decide to compose music?
Maybe.
When I picture a guitarist,
It's been
who is
removed.
in a band.
Let's try it again.
Yeah. When I started
For
playing
Windows.
guitar, well, I started playing guitar because I thought
How's
it was
that
cool.
normal?
That was about it.
It's
But
not
I definitely
impossible
wanted
to work
be in
with.
a band
It's a pain in the butt. That's what
when
it
I
is.
started playing. But I don't see myself so much as a guitarist anymore.
I think it's
I
just
see myself
because
more
there
as a
isn't
composer.
a face to project, and
I
it's
don't know
probably going
exactly
through.
what happened really, but I just kind of over time.
Because that would be like over here.
Well, really, when I started writing music, I just found that
Like
I enjoyed
for
that
this
a
kind
lot
of stuff,
more.
it's
I mean, not
okay.
that I don't love playing guitar, but like,
I don't know.
you
Let's
know,
start by
I
having a look at what it looks like,
think
and
that's
then
another
kind of
thing too. Like, I don't really
work
write
it down.
rock music very much.
Looks like it's
even
done,
though,
though.
you know, I play rock guitar.
I play rock guitar.
I don't know
rock
what it
and
is exactly. But
Save.
I write.
We'll close this thing out.
Well, the antithesis of rock music, pretty much.
What is anti-rock
But
music?
yeah, I mean, I did want to
Is
be in
it
a band
anime music?
when I was younger, but now it doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah, I think with composing music, maybe you just have a little bit more control over it.
Mm-hmm. That might be it. That might be something, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's more personal in a sense.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Yeah.
Because it's like
This
there are
drive.
there's different draws
Oh,
to
S. Sorry.
both of those things. Because with
There we go.
you know, playing in a band, that's, I mean, and they overlap a little bit, but playing in a band, it's a very communal activity.
Yeah, I want to save. I thought you were saving.
And I'm pretty highly introverted, so I prefer to be alone a lot. I mean, a lot of musicians are introverts, even the ones in bands. But anyways, but you know, with composition,
All right.
I can.
A new version.
I guess the reason I do it really is just
Let's
to
make sure we
explore
have that.
ideas and things.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I don't want to do that right now.
I get a lot of people in my interviews saying that, so it's
Mhm.
So
Art's a very
I'm curious
exploratory
about.
sort of thing.
yeah.
I don't know if it
And I
does
think
this automatically.
Well, I think it's why a lot of people do it, is just because they
I wonder, is there a
artists
phaser
are
interface?
artists are very high tend to be very high in a, well, actually that's one of the traits of an artist is, so there's a personality trait called openness to experience, and it's a scientifically scientific, what am I looking for? It's a scientifically validated
Standard style.
personality trait.
It supports
that,
JavaScript.
So people who
by
are high in that
default,
trait
but-
tend to be, well, they're open to new experiences, and they want
Let's go
to
to
try new things
preferences,
and
at least.
explore things, and they tend
That's
to be
fine.
fairly creative, and they tend to be interested in artistic endeavors. And so,
Wow, this person
yeah,
listens
I
to
mean,
Jordan
it seems
Peterson.
completely natural that, as a result, artists would
It's crazy
tend
the amount
to
of people that
be
person
interested in
reaches.
exploring things. So I guess that's
Hello,
why I do it.
friend,
Yeah.
whose name I can
Yeah,
barely see.
One of the things I've
Mars
noticed
there.
with
Hello.
a lot of artists is
Slip, what's going
whether
on?
they go to like
I'm
a
listening to Basil
university
Tonic.
or not, to
You know
learn
that
music,
already,
tend
though.
to go off on their own
Just kind of setting
to
up some
learn
stuff.
whatever they need
I'm gonna have to
know.
repair some of these maps. Like, I'll
It's
show you what I mean here in a
very,
sec. So this is battery. I'll
gosh,
put
it's
it
a
in
very
there.
self-motivated,
So here are all of the maps that we just
self-driven
generated.
thing
These
to
obviously
be
aren't that useful.
composer and
So
kinda-
goodbye.
take hold of all that into
Yeah.
what you want. Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
it's there's really
Yeah,
only
yeah.
so much you can learn.
There's also a displacement alpha. I kind of want to
That's
see what
not
that
the right
looks.
way of saying it. There's a
Let's
lot that you can learn from other
open,
people, but there's
guess,
certain
Quixel.
things that you can only learn on your own.
Mhm.
I think.
Which will
Yeah,
open
no, at least
Photoshop.
as far
No, I
as-
mean,
as
no,
far
I'm
as
saying. There's
artistic
Quixel. It's the
things go.
smallest program
So I
ever.
think-
Oh, it's so
I think a
small.
lot
Look at
of
it. Look at it.
Improving as an
Oh.
artist is a lot of it is a matter of self-reflection, and I think you learn a lot about yourself as an artist, even if some of that's just as simple as I procrastinate a lot. you
Yeah,
know?
I do. Kind of.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Let's
because a lot of it's just.
let's do
I
it.
mean, a lot of there's a lot of practical things to
So
improving as an
I have
artist. Part of it
material
is just
ID maps.
finding
Let's start
what
with our mesh,
environments
yeah?
you feel
So that's on
most
our desktop.
inspired by
It's in
and what.
here. It's this
Uh,
guy. Thanks,
Because
dog.
when you
I
start
have a mat
writing
ID
music,
file.
it's not exactly clear what
This
it is
looks
you
like it has less information than that.
are motivated by and what it is you're
Okay.
trying to do. And
I have a normal
life
map,
evolves over time, and so the things that you're interested in making
which is
now aren't going to be the same
alpha.
things you're interested in making 10 years from now because
This
you
should
grow
be
and
in
change
the
as a person.
UR4.
Yeah.
Can we
So
choose
your
the
own artistic goals change
other
as well.
workflow?
Which, that's
I don't
in
have
one
an
sense, you'll
AO map,
never
though I might be able to
reach
make one
those
out of
goals
this
because they're
guy.
always going to change. But in another sense, that's
Because
kind of
this
nice
kind
because it means
of
you'll
no, it
always have
doesn't.
something
Never
new
mind.
to
Has a
work
little
with.
bit of like
But
gradient data
there's
here,
definitely like
but I don't think I'm gonna actually get something that's that sweet. Although I might be able to
when
combine it with this information.
creating and maybe
Let's
this is a
do
little
this.
off topic, but when creating a particular piece of art, it's
Real
sort
quick,
of a
get out of my way
process
here.
of
I got an idea. What if
elimination.
I had
Because
these two maps?
When you say you decide that you're going to
There should be
write
one more.
a piece of music. Okay. So
One day I'm gonna write a piece of music.
what that means is
All right.
you are
Real quick,
actually
let's
let's
close
take a
that.
step back from there actually.
So
Let's say you're going to embark
let's
on a
just
creative
look
endeavor
at
of some kind. You're going to create
the
something.
alpha channel.
Okay, so that means that with the time that you have, you are
Oh, really?
not going to do
Yo,
any of the other
image
million
mode.
things you could possibly be doing right now. So maybe, you're not going to take a walk. You're going to create something. Okay. Next step. What sort of thing are you going to create? You're going to create a piece of music. Okay, that means you're not going to write a story or film something, Okay, so now going a step forward, say you're going to write a piece of music. Okay, you're going to write a piece of music for piano and violin. Okay, that means there's not going to be any guitars in it. There's not going to be other, things like that. And so that process continues on and on and on and on and on until you're at the point where you're deciding at this single moment in time, I'm going to play an F instead of a G.
That's not useful.
Instead of any of the other notes, And that process
Go back
continues.
to
It's kind of like an upside down pyramid in a sense. You start with endless
have all this
possibilities and you narrow it down into a
IDs.
single refined point. And when you consider the project done, then you step away from
I don't
it.
have any ID
It's
presets.
complete. That's the point.
Although
where
I should, but I
that's
really
the
don't like
tip
how
of
this has
the
come out so
inverted
far.
pyramid, if you
This is
will,
on
and that's
desktop. That's
where it stops, and that's complete.
Metalness. Can I change that
so
RMA fact? Is there
it's
another
sort of-
Unreal 4
it's very
setup?
difficult to
Instead of
start with
metalness, we have like specularity
any
or something.
possibility whatsoever.
Whatever.
And then refine that into something that's crystallized. And so, and I definitely think I'm going off topic here.
This
but,
looks like really productive. Look at all these progress bars. Go, baby, go.
And both of those have their own challenges. Some people find it very easy to start with, endless possibilities, but like as they get closer to the goal, it becomes more difficult, which is understandable because the choices that you make have a bigger
Let's get
impact
started.
on the
What are we dealing with?
final, because you're getting each step is because the finish line's within reach. And so each step.
So here's our normal map
the
transfer
more your
to this
choices
object.
kind of matter, and
It's
so
like
that puts a lot of pressure on people sometimes.
not
it's
terrible.
hard to know when to call something done, but so as for
I think if I hold C, I can get a look at my material
as a linear
IDs.
process from start to finish, but it's not linear at all. Because you'll go back and change things.
But we have no
and maybe
materials
scrap
assigned to
something
any of these
entirely and go
IDs,
back to
so
the
we can't
start and
actually
whatever, and it's
mess with it.
it's
you
kind of
know?
a messy process.
It's a messy process.
I think that
It requires
that
a mess.
process is going to be very different for everybody, and so kind of getting back to my point, that process is going to be very different for everybody, and
So, let's
and so a certain amount of self-reflection, I think, is worthwhile.
where are you?
To,
Here? No.
to
Here?
helping you kind of
What?
understand
Where'd you go? It just
kind of who you are
disappeared.
as an artist and how you work and
I bet it's
what's
like
most
behind
efficient
one of
for
these
you
windows. No.
and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that was very thorough. I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
Cool.
talk a lot.
No,
I can't
it is
keep this on top.
refreshing because no one has actually put me through the steps.
Mm.
But I understand it because
3D topmost.
it's art, and I think art tends to be the process of it tends to be simpler across the board, whether it's music or like
Okay.
painting
Well, now that
or
works. Okay.
writing or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's a lot of
So
like
let's start with like a reasonable
you're always
material.
usually critical on yourself. I always
Aluminum
find that
fingerprints.
people tend to be
Sure.
like you're your own worst critic at
Right.
sometimes. And you said sometimes you don't know when
So now the whole thing
it's done,
is this
like
aluminum
when
material
it's finished.
with fingerprints.
So yeah,
Not
no,
particularly
I
convincing.
liked that.
And that's where
Do
other
Unreal
people
Shader
are really
mode.
really important because there's certain things that you have to learn
That
by yourself,
almost
but like
looks
you
good.
really need the support of other people. And so in particular when you don't know whether something's done or not,
Mhm.
getting feedback from
So,
other people
for
is
masking.
very very important.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Because they'll tell you things that you are
Say
completely blind to.
this is my
Um,
default object.
Yeah,
Is there-
because
is
So
there-
I can do that, then do this. Blam.
Yes, exactly. So you develop a kind of a blindness
Masks
to
out that color
certain
and
both
applies
flaws
that
and
mode to
good
this
things
object.
about it.
So now we
Yes.
have
Maybe you'll
a start.
think something's not
You can also
particularly
choose the
special,
color
but
of
a lot
this,
of people
right?
will be like, "Wow, this is
Which I'm a
amazing,"
big fan of.
And because a lot of people
like-
kind of like show their work to other people
Purplish.
so that they can point out flaws in it, but like it's also important for them to point out the good things about it too, because
Mhm.
there's
I'm
you
really
don't
liking
wanna-
this
you don't wanna
character.
fix something that isn't broken,
Yeah.
And
Alright, let's
so
get crazy.
I think when
It's out of smart material.
asking for critique from people, it's important to ask people both in the field that you are
But it's
in.
pure.
So if you're asking for critique
Pure
on painting, ask
aluminum.
painters for their insight, but also ask non-painters because they'll approach things differently and they'll give you different kinds of feedback. And maybe it'll be a little harder to interpret
Alright,
the
I messed
critique
up.
of
So I have to move this
people
out.
who don't know the
this
language
layer.
of the thing that you're trying to do, so a non-artist trying to give
What?
feedback, they're not going to use any of the
Oops,
technical terms or
I messed
whatever,
up.
and so maybe it can be a little hard to understand it, but
Let's
like
just
they're
delete
also going to
this.
see things in a way that a painter wouldn't, and so I think it's
Yeah.
useful to get critique from both.
For you, I want to assume that you get a lot of inspiration from anime and video games. So for that, I mean, you can't. I assume you can't really just go up to anybody and be like, "Hey, listen to this." You have to have somebody who's played a video game or watched anime and listen to it. But not
Yeah, I guess my inspirations are a little niche.
Yeah, but I think that's admirable because then it makes it more fruitful because you're putting in more effort. Yeah. With that being said, where do you find your inspiration?
How does that look?
Like what? Like games?
That's pretty
or,
quick.
Like I guess, or composers.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of misses.
I'd say the music of Koji Kondo is a real inspiration to me.
Okay.
Oh,
He did
is that like
the
Mother of Pearl?
music for the Mario and Zelda series up until the early 2000s.
Okay. And like why specifically?
Ah, yes, Moon flavor.
I didn't play a lot of Mario or Zelda growing up, so it's not like I have any nostalgia for that kind of music. It's not like I grew up listening to it, but I think his style just kind of resonates with me. He's very
That's cool.
well. I guess it's the same reason I don't like big ensembles. He's very minimalistic and he kind of gets to the point, and I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your music is very I want to say fantasy, but I don't feel like that's entirely it. But the story that that you write is exactly what I picture your music to be. I don't know if that makes sense.
That's
Like,
good.
Yeah. But that's exactly what I picture when I hear your music. So it's spot on.
That means I'm doing something right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really cool. I think it's amazing that, gosh, I can't even put it to words, that you have an idea and you can just, it sounds stupid, but you can just write music that fits that idea or that, like, that emotion specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't
And
know
then
how it
maybe
works
like a
either.
rubber
I
or
mean,
something like that,
I-
ABS.
every
Then
time
we'll
I go
start
to
to
write a
put on
song, I'm just
dust.
like, I
And
don't know how to do this, and then I just
see
do
where
it.
that goes.
It's just
I
one
don't
step
hate
at a
it.
time,
I just
guess.
don't love it. It's
Yeah.
kind of a problem.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Like this stuff came out pretty
Um,
nicely,
So,
but I still see a bunch of
gosh, I have a question, and I feel like you've already answered.
So,
And the question is, what is the biggest
let's change
project
this
that you've ever
rendering.
worked on?
Mhm.
Would that be Looking Glass of the Heart, or
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ongaku Concept is my other big project, but that's kind of like, I guess both of them are similarly large. I mean,
Is that
I've
like a
worked
rubber,
on both of them for about the same amount of time.
plastic, rubber,
Yeah.
Okay.
dried
So I would say
rubber,
that those two are my
ooh,
biggest
synthetic
projects
rubber,
that I've worked on.
latex.
Looking Glass is much
That's
more
cool
personal to
too.
me.
Oh, okay.
But
It's
let's
more
try
like,
that out.
because I mean, with Ongaku Concept, I'm teaching, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
You know,
you know, I love doing that, but it's it's more about collecting information and then, you know, passing that off to
rubber
other people.
stress and
Whereas with
rubber
Looking Glass,
base.
that's
If I go up to the
well, that's
top
actually
layer, I
art.
can still adjust
So
the
I'm
map
exploring things,
because
exploring ideas.
I
and
don't want
things like
everything to
that.
be
And so,
rubber.
Yeah.
But
so
you
I
better
guess
listen.
that's more personal to me. So I have more of a
But
connection to it.
as a
Well, I wouldn't
material,
say I have
like
more
that
of a
looks
con- It's
wonderful.
a different kind of connection.
Yeah.
So some of it
So-
came across pretty well. Makes me want to kind of
Gosh, okay,
reconsider
has
my
there been a project that you've had to do or a
what I've done
song
here.
that you really
But
hated?
if that fills
Like,
out a lot of this stuff,
really hated doing it, but
then
you
maybe
finished it,
I'll
you got
feel
it over
amazing.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
as a
feel like a
base,
lot of the
I'm
songs I
actually
do are like
pretty
that.
touched. That looks
It's like-
Why is that?
good.
I don't know. It's, I mean, I guess the reasoning is pretty
Let's
consistent.
mask.
I mean, it's just kind of hard to.
All right, so we have this
narrow
entire
it down.
area.
It's very, very rare that I have.
Actually looks pretty cool.
inspiration for something that really like.
You know what? That might have actually
sticks with
saved
me
the day.
throughout the songwriting process. You know, so I might get inspiration for something, but it lasts like 10 seconds of the song, and then I have to work out.
Problem
the
is,
rest from there. It's
layering.
I mean, I guess it would depend on what you mean by
That's
hate
better not
doing it.
move
I mean,
inside
I guess
of that.
there's, like, I
There
love
we
writing
go.
music and stuff, but there's definitely
Yeah.
a lot of, maybe more
I can
often
just
than
see
not
where
that
it's-
it's very difficult. And,
Yeah, there we go. So I could see
and
Yeah.
so
almost every
find that
material,
I generally work best when
but it's
um,
also
in those situations, I
overridden.
generally work best when I kind of stop thinking about it and I just
what if
let
this
my
is the
mind kind of
lowest?
sit and generate ideas.
I'm trying
on
to
its own.
figure out because they all
I
add
don't-
kind
I
of
don't
on
really
top of
compose
each
with
other.
an instrument.
So now I can see
I find I
four.
work better
Mm-hmm.
just leaving, my guitar down, piano away, and I just, sit on my hands or whatever, and I just think. I don't really think. I just kind of, it's more passive than that.
Yeah.
Looks all right.
You just you don't really think, it's more you let it kind of. I like how you
Sweet.
put that.
I guess we'll
Um,
render it.
I suppose what I meant. I mean, you answered the question perfectly, but I also
It's
feel like you
reflective.
tend to, I mean, I get the impression you learn more from the aspects of sun making that you hate or you dislike.
Ah, I don't hate it.
Like,
Mhm.
I don't hate
yeah.
it.
I mean, is that true?
That's actually nice. I used to
Um,
hate it. Now I don't hate
Probably.
it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've learned
That's
from
hot.
too many of my
Awesome.
mistakes.
What do you?
Maybe I have. I don't know. Because I'm thinking of times when I've been writing songs and it's been a
What?
very difficult process, and a lot of those just end up with me scrapping. Maybe one of the
Okay,
best
yeah,
lessons I've learned is
yeah, yeah.
is if
No,
a
you're
song's
just
having
you're
too much
just
trouble,
there
maybe just
chewing
restart
on.
it. Um,
Are you
I guess
craving
there's
tough crust
there's
pizza?
two conflicting pieces of advice there.
Okay,
Like
okay.
sometimes you just have to work through it,
Word.
but other time, and maybe it's because it's not good to.
Uh,
Because I've got a friend
have we ordered pizza from
who
them?
will refuse to finish a song
Okay, I had
unless
different. I don't think I've had it.
unless he like is absolutely sure
Hey,
about it.
depressing bachelor life is
And
necessary.
so as a result, he's never
Oh
finished a
man,
song,
this came out all right.
and
I
that's
was pissed
not
off
good at all.
yesterday.
And he's an
Boosh.
amazing composer, by the way. He's way too hard
Dig
on
these
himself,
digs,
but
yo.
it's if you don't write, that's actually the reason why I was able to write music to begin
Yeah,
with.
just
I said that
yeah.
technically I've been writing music since I started playing guitar, but I didn't finish anything until like 2012.
I like this.
It's
So my
I was,
concept about those polys, like,
that first
actually
song that I wrote in 2012
came out pretty
I was
good.
not happy with it at all. Looking back, it was okay, but I wasn't happy with it at all at the time.
So I
and
kind of can't be mad.
I
It is a little bit jumbled over here,
just worked through it anyway, and I was
but
like, okay, I'm gonna call
it doesn't
this done.
suck.
I'm gonna export it.
There are definitely a
put it on
certain
YouTube,
number of
and
things
it is what it is.
I want to
And
try.
that was, go ahead.
Oh,
I don't
sorry,
know. That looks pretty good though.
I totally cut you off. You can keep going.
No
Don't
problem.
worry.
Gosh.
And
Well, let's make a
so
pretty shot or two of it.
doing that.
Did I shave? I did.
Enabled me to actually write songs and actually finish them.
Because
And,
I'm a jerk.
And I've heard.
Did I chafe?
Since I've heard from a lot of different
Yes.
people in different fields that it's.
I
really,
like
really
this.
important to
I thought I was
finish
gonna hate
things.
this
And I think
mesh,
there's
but
something,
it's actually pretty dope.
Mental about it in the sense that like, I feel like if you don't finish something,
Like
and
this
you
will
just kind
fit
of
the
leave it
style
unfinished,
really
like,
well.
it can just
I need
kind of sit on
to.
the back burner forever.
I need to do one
And you
more
don't really have
thing
think
to
about it, 'cause
maybe
it's
all
like,
of these
well,
meshes,
I'll
but
get back to it
as
someday,
it stands, let's just
But
like
let's
make our glamour shots.
And
That's what I like
it's
about
kind of
Quixel is
a different
Instagram.
status in your
Instagram.
head.
It is. Well,
And at least for me, and I think for a lot of
Insta
other
render.
people, it's just kind of
That's not
like
bad.
if you call it
Oh
done,
man.
now it's like a finished
Like, look
thing,
at this.
and you
Yes.
think about it differently. And so now
Yes.
you can kind of look at that and say, okay, well,
It actually looks
maybe
pretty
this
bad.
is how I
Badass.
went wrong, and maybe how I can, because you're not going to necessarily critique that if it's
So let's get
you don't have to
into
critique it
the
if it's sitting
render
on the back
view.
burner, because you'll get back to it later, and you're not going to critique it yet. But if if you call it done, then you can
I
say,
get like
okay,
this
well, this is what I
crazy.
learned from this, and But I don't know. I say that, but I don't know that I've ever consciously thought
fix
that
it a little
about.
bit
So, for
more.
instance, that first song that I wrote, I don't think there was anything that I consciously took, any lessons that I consciously took away from that.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe I don't maybe I didn't take anything away from it in that song in particular, but
That looks
I feel
good.
like, well, I must have improved somehow. So
I'm actually pleased
I
with
feel
my
like a
work
lot of it's
today.
just lessons
That's
I
good.
learned that I
All that work
didn't,
last night has now officially paid off.
have the words for at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like
Either way,
getting
I've
some hair off my
certainly
face.
found-
It came out to
found
almost a
finishing
football's
things is
worth of hair.
important,
It
and
was like a
of
lot.
people
Um,
have confirmed that as well, and so yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You knew
Ah,
there was
that's good.
something missing from your music, but you didn't know.
Mhm.
But now it's being resolved
Sweet.
as you practice.
I
and
can't
you
hate.
Go over it.
I should have given it to a family of birds.
Yeah, and it sounds.
Yeah,
like a lot
it
of,
probably would have been better suited
self-motivation.
for that for sure.
Like,
Which I have
All right.
very little of.
Let's before we get all cute here, let's
I feel
export
like a
all of
lot
our
people
map.
do.
Um,
There's a lot of lack of
which
self-motivation.
this down button,
And,
like,
I mean, you were even,
doesn't really make a lot of
talking about your
sense.
friend, and you were saying that he's really hard on himself, but he's like, you say he's a really brilliant composer.
whereas
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
Yeah, and I
flats,
get that.
default
We have
object,
a lot
map.
of people
It's gonna be called
in our
fab,
MintPotion Discord.
battery.
A lot of people are very hard on themselves. And I assume you are too as an artist, but what
Yeah.
helps you get through that? Is
Do
it just
some
that
dope
self-motivation
targas.
of like, let's just finish this
Export
song,
this
let's keep
material.
going?
Well,
That shouldn't
I'm
take very
I'm
long.
a fairly pessimistic
Sophie, I'm glad you
individual,
like it.
and so
I'm
I
like
find
really
that,
into it. It's like
my best source of
it's
motivation
really
is faith.
satisfying. I
Um,
thought
so
I
I'll
was gonna
show
hate it
if you're
yesterday
having
because I put so
particular
much time into it,
uh,
but now it's like,
issues with a
yeah,
song, I will
yeah.
show it to
So
somebody,
let's
to a friend, and
make it pretty.
ask for their advice.
So where's the render view?
And usually they can.
So I guess this will be
It's not like just sharing your music
whatever.
with
Save
strangers,
that.
where like you'll get feedback on the music itself, but sharing with friends and sharing your struggles and stuff, you get feedback on that and also
I
moral
want that kind
support.
of off angle.
And so I think that's
That looks great.
probably the
Render it.
the primary source of my motivation.
Save it.
Is just
There
having
should be
friends
settings
to,
for rendering.
keep me
I don't know where they are. I can't
to
remember.
Have a
spur
good-
me
It's
on.
like it's there
Good
some.
support group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I know what you mean, yeah.
But let's mess with.
nice
Maybe
and
it's in here. Yeah.
and say something positive, and then you're like,
Mhm.
okay, all right. So
This is.
no.
But
I
let's
guess,
see. So
are you
show me the
familiar with,
wireframe, and
oh
let's
gosh,
show
Nights into Dreams.
this.
No.
Yes, I do remember Nights into
It
Dreams.
was a game for the Sega.
So we'll do
Saturn,
a
I think.
render
Right.
that shows.
It was.
Oh, these are a bit
there was
thick.
a Wii game as well, Nights Journey of Dreams, for the Wii, and it's a Sega game, and
And
music
let's do
was
the same
composed
thing real
by,
quick. Render.
Naofumi Hataya and gosh,
Enter.
her name escapes me.
Opposite side.
Tomogo Sasaki.
Mhm.
Get that light out of the
And
way
I
a
read an
bit.
interview with Sasaki where she was talking
Render.
about writing the music
Enter.
for that game.
And then
she
let's
said,
see if we can
but
make
I
like a
found this
really
really,
stupid
like,
looking.
encouraging.
Looking thing.
This is from a professional, right? And she.
I am so happy with this design.
she said
I
that
thought
there
I
were
would hate it.
Plenty of situations.
I cannot
when she was
say
writing
how
music
true
for
that is right
nights
now.
That she would get maybe like 4 bars in or something, and would
Gotta
just be
find,
completely
like-
unable to continue and had no idea what to do next. And she was very easily brought down by that. And so she would talk to Hataya, and he would just kind of reaffirm things for her and like encourage her and tell her what was good about what she had written and how she might be able to develop it from there. And she said that like that was a huge source of encouragement for her.
And then we're gonna get
And
this
that
in the
was really
engine,
the
and
reason, just
we're going to
that kind of support
set
was
up
really the
that
reason she was
asset
able
stage thing.
and
I'm so
she
happy
wrote
with
so many
this.
brilliant pieces. If any of you aren't unfamiliar with the Night soundtrack, look up "Eloquent Echo" from Nights. That's one of Sasaki's songs, and it's absolutely
So
gorgeous.
let's do a sharpness pass.
I'll look it up.
Um,
That's a really nice.
Screen
I'm glad you
space
said that.
AO.
That's a really cool thing that she.
That makes everything
that
look
you have this
serious.
person who's like very accomplished and did all this stuff, but then you
Mhm.
find out that you
That looks
have
kind of cool.
the same common insecurity.
What else you
Yeah,
got?
exactly.
Yeah, but I'm glad you can.
I feel like
find a way
they
to
toned this window
get
down
out
a
of
lot.
that funk.
Simulate a physical camera. Sweet. Give me some of that
Oh, okay.
DOF, and I can.
This question I think
actually-
is very much geared towards the listeners.
Custom
It's
vocal
how do
length.
you market yourself today?
That's a
Networking,
good question, Sophie.
I see you have a Bandcamp.
Yes.
Optical vignette,
Well,
bloom.
I will just make a disclaimer. Preface this with a disclaimer that I am not. I know nothing about marketing.
Oh, I see.
So, but
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like sorry to interrupt you.
That's starting
I
to
feel
look
like
new,
if
Rennie.
you do something different than most others
Let's
here.
get
You have
color grading in
this
here.
YouTube channel dedicated
Oh gosh, that
to
looks like trash.
music theory, and
Mhm.
Lens
even though
flare,
it's not
yeah.
specifically your work, you are still promoting yourself in a way.
Yeah, I I kind of I plug my own stuff whenever I have the opportunity to on that channel, and so
Yeah, no,
it's gotten a little bit of,
yeah.
it's like I think it's definitely good to have um as far as I can tell, I think one of the best things you can do for self promotion is to just have to have things that are to produce things that are relevant and useful to other people. Um, and maybe that's exactly what
Lens
it is
dirt.
that you
Gotta have all the
create, or
lens
maybe
dirt.
it's related to what
What
you
else can I
create or
do?
something.
Sensor noise. Ooh, I like that. A little bit more
Uh,
depth.
So, for instance, maybe
Uh,
I've seen a
lens
lot of artists do
stains.
this on Twitter. I've
Can't
seen a
really
lot of
see it. Turn
artists
it all the way
draw
up.
comics that have to do with social issues, or you know not even
Contrast
like
and
current events
saturation.
exactly so much as just daily life kinds of problems, things that will be relevant to other people, and well, things that are
Dope.
likely to be shared, because people will share things that they feel
High quality resampling.
that they
Let's do a
connect
post
with.
pass on sharpness. Let's make things
And
seem a
so
little crazy.
and so those sorts of things get shared
Beautiful.
around, and then
That
maybe
looks
your
wonderful.
personal work
Thanks, video
will get a little
card.
bit of
You're the
attention as
best.
a byproduct.
You're the best.
And so I think that's
Render.
probably pretty important. So and that wasn't exactly the goal when I started on Gaku Concept, but that's kind of how it's turned
And
out.
let's
OC
look at the other side of this thing.
is a practical
Because of course it's in
resource for
3D.
people,
We could do all
who
of
want
that.
to learn music theory, and then maybe my personal stuff gets some attention on the side, So
Yeah.
That looks so good.
so that's really what I know about marketing.
I have
guess.
excitement.
I will take a moment to plug Video Game Music Academy. It's run by a friend of mine named
Sweet.
Daniel Holzman, and he
Sounds
was
familiar.
a marketing professional for I think a decade.
All right,
maybe
so the
longer.
last thing to do in our
but,
3D project,
he-
thanks like every window
that website,
for
that
being
blog
open, desktop,
is,
battery, bakes, fab, renders,
geared
thanks.
There's a Facebook group too
Let's
for it.
close our export
Is geared
window.
entirely towards,
Let's save our
marketing
Quixel
and networking
projects.
for and
Let's
just the business side in general,
quit our
for
Quixel
game
project.
composers.
Yeah, send me the link to those and we'll put it in the description as well.
Close
Yeah.
current project.
So
Yeah, well,
this
sure,
song
why not?
You sent me.
That is
it's
amazing.
From Looking Glass of Life.
All right, that'll go a long way.
Um,
I'm happy with that. Let's
and it's
quit
the song you're
Quixel.
most
Might as well
proudest of.
quit all this junk.
Yeah.
Why this song?
All right, and so
Yeah,
in
so
here, flats.
I think
I get
maybe-
all of
and
these
maybe this will
maps.
be
I have an
a little bit
OBJ.
relevant to the
Actually, need
question
to
you
go
asked
back
previously.
into. Well, maybe I don't have to.
I think I'm
I could import an
proud of that
OBJ
song
into
because it
the
was
Unreal. Why not?
uh,
We have stuff to do in there anyway.
difficult to do.
Epic
but it ended
Games
up turning out
Launcher.
the way that I liked.
Somebody keeps trying to log into my
So
Unreal
that is
account
the theme
because I
of
don't know.
Alice
I'm a
McRae,
jerk
which
or
is one of
something.
the characters in the
A new
story.
version of the system software is available.
And she is
Update, boy.
She's a very
Do it.
introverted and introspective girl, and she's kind of always got stories going on in her head. She's not a writer exactly, but she reads a lot, and she's very well informed and all of that. And she and that's kind of like
I logged in.
more of an inner life for her,
What's
because
the-
she's
There's an
in a fairly
update.
high
No.
social status. Has a
Shit.
very high social
I don't want
status,
to
and
update
so
it right now. I have
she
shit to
feels a lot
do.
of pressure to kind
Oh,
of
let's
be
export.
like a model citizen in a sense.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever works, man.
And so she kind of puts on, and so one of the things that she's doing is
I want to export this there's
trying to
this
build a
asset.
business because her father is a businessman. He works primarily in investing, and so she's trying to kind of follow in those footsteps.
So I can start putting my assets
to just
in
kind of look
space.
good, basically, to the
I'm gonna
public.
email myself a bunch
And,
of photos.
And so there's
Chris
there's a lot of
Anderson, what's
conflict
up?
there. Like,
Dinner.
it's not something that she's
Sounds great.
particularly good at or particularly interested in. But, you know, there's a lot of pressure.
Dinner
there,
is delicious,
so
but I have to
it's sort of
email myself some
complicated, and I tried
shit.
to express that in the music. And
You can email Angry Crow or Angry Crow.
the
Yo,
song
images.
itself is a medley of
That.
2 tracks from the original concept album that I did.
So I want.
And when I did the concept album, like, it was just like all
You
the characters
guys.
were just kind of stereotypes and stuff like that, because it wasn't really meant to be anything particularly
Render.
detailed. But
You
you know, when I
guys.
came back and stuff, one thing that I found when I was working on the soundtrack for Looking Glass was that I couldn't play any
Wonderful.
of it until I wrote some of Looking Glass.
That'll upload and send here in a minute.
Just at a loss for what to write musically.
Anyway,
until
let's
I
go
was
back to
able
what I was
develop
doing in
the
here.
characters and
So
the locations and
there
so
is
forth.
a do
Which was
content
interesting.
maps. There should be
And so
not main map.
when I started writing Alice's theme,
Starter, textures, vehicle
or
layer,
arranging it,
geometry,
rather,
blueprints, particle,
I
infinity
figured
blade
that I found
effects,
that the that what I wrote for her previously
city,
was too wistful,
architecture.
I guess. And
I want
'cause
this.
she's a very
This.
Yeah.
she's a very well put
So,
together person. She's very
right?
organized.
It's just like
And
the
so-
stupid big
And
mesh.
this is a weird
that we
thing
can
that I
put all
found
of our
out
crap
was
in.
that, so the original
Beautiful.
track that was her theme, and I'll link
So
you
let's
to that
export.
if you're interested in hearing that. It was in,
Or migrate, I
this is
should
gonna be a little bit of technical information. It was in 6/8 time, and
Copies
so that's
it to
a
another
time
project. We're gonna
signature,
migrate this.
That's like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and
Okay.
and so it's two
To
groups
our
of
Unreal
3,
project.
2 groups of 3.
It's gonna
so
be
Okay.
here.
1 and 2 and like that.
Yeah.
And that's got kind of a listless kind of swaying motion to it. And so I found, I don't remember why I thought of doing this, but I
Put it
decided
here.
to change that meter because I felt that the whole song was just too
Yeah.
too wistful, and I needed to
Let's try that
straighten
again.
it up, and I didn't know how. And so
There it
one of the things I thought of doing
Yay.
was changing that meter from 6/8 to 3/4. And so 3/4.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if
I mean, this
6/8
is not
two
my
groups of
work,
3,
mostly.
3/4 is
None of it's
3
my work.
groups of 2.
Look at how
And
detailed
so
this
both of
wheel
them
is.
equal out to 6,
It's
but
pretty
the
cool.
stress is different.
Physical based
So
rendering,
3/4,
man.
it's 1 and 2 and
That
3
peanut butter and
1
rice.
and 2 and 3 and.
You can almost
And
read this text.
That's much
It's like backwards
straighter.
and stuff.
That's much
Robot
more,
arms and legs.
and you'll hear the difference. I'll link it to you later, but it was much
This isn't
more,
my work. I'm
Well, I
exporting stuff
imagine-
from this map. I've been using this for another thing.
her standing
Anyway.
up straight and
Who do you think I am?
kind of thing.
Insert
And so
gesture
just changing
here.
that meter was enough to get the inspiration to get moving, because it was just trying to get that initial atmosphere together. You know? I think that's probably something that's most important to me, is getting the rhythm proper when I start.
Oy.
Yeah, I think because I guess when I write a lot of when I try to like, I guess the first thing I do is try and
Let's
like
make a new
sway to
folder. A new
rhythm.
folder.
And
Yeah.
This is all fab, so
And
I shouldn't be
kind of
giving these
get
things a
that
name. It should just be battery, right?
going first, and
Ah,
so you know,
fab.
that's why I needed to do that in order to
Battery.
for the rest of it to come to me. And the other thing that I
Um,
did was
Let's
I'm-
import some stuff.
I'm getting too detailed here.
Oh,
The
and
other
let's
thing
go
that I did
to.
was,
No, you're
I have
I'm-
content art test
perfect.
maps.
okay.
So
The other
actually
thing that I did
have- I
was
should have- I
removed
should-
the syncopation. So
asset
syncopation
security.
is a
The Soul City.
it's when
You?
you
Is it you? Is
emphasize,
it you? It's you.
uh,
Sweet. Let's make a new map.
It's when you emphasize notes on
Because I
the
have art
beats.
tools.
So
Blah blah
there's-
blah
there's
blah
things
blah.
strong and weak
I want a
beats,
new map.
basically.
File.
And so,
New map.
um,
New map.
So I'll just get my guitar. There's like so say I were to
Let's make
play,
it
on a rhythm
empty.
like this,
All right. Of course, he has a guitar ready to
so
go.
there's no syncopation there.
We're going
But
to
if I emphasize the weak beats,
basically just drop this guy in there, right? Now we have like this thing.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of motion
Let's
to
put
it.
this
I feel
thing in
there's
the
a lot
middle of the.
momentum with syncopation, and so
Although
by
there's that Z
removing the
fighting,
syncopation
which
because the
bugs
original
some people.
track had some syncopation to it, not a whole lot,
That's
but a
not
little
too
bit.
bad.
I took
And
that out. I
let's
adjusted
get
the
like
rhythm
a
to not
directional
have any
light in this
syncopation
stage.
in the new
So
arrangement,
create
and
folder,
that also helped really kind of straighten
staging
it up and get the impression I was
stuff.
looking for. But
Put the stuff in
aside from that,
folder.
just kind of
And I
overall,
want to create a light, just
I'm
a
just really
regular
proud of
old
the
skylight.
atmosphere of the song, just because well, Alice is a particularly complex character, and so it was just very difficult to express her, and
And
somehow managed
was
to
it
do it.
exactly what you pictured?
Yeah, I think so. It's, I mean, the most validating thing for me was I showed it to my sister, and she doesn't know anything about my story or about the music or whatever, and so I showed her just like all I said was, "This is a character theme. I'll show it to you," and so I just showed her a clip of Alice's theme, and I was like, "Okay, so what kind of character do you think that is?" And she thought about it for a second. She said, "Oh, I'm thinking of a character who's, well, she basically described Alice perfectly." And so I'm like, well,
that's awesome. That's really
and
cool.
not everybody's going to have the exact same
Let's
interpretation.
save
of
the
the song,
stage.
like just the
We're gonna
fact that
save it.
she was
See,
very,
where
very
am I?
close,
Maps.
even knowing absolutely nothing about
Let's
it, not even
put
seeing
it
the character,
in.
that was really validating.
That's
I guess
awesome.
that's fine.
Yes.
I don't know.
I totally I mean that actually makes sense to me.
Here?
because
Oh
we
yeah,
post
here.
Things in
Factory gallery.
plug zone? Yeah, plug zone on our Discord. And they ask like, "Oh, what do you think?" I'm like, "Oh, it sounds like you're
Let's build that lighting. It's easy.
And they're like,
Let's
"That's
read it
exactly
100 times, but hey.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't
Alright.
really know much, so I mean,
That'll
it's
soften it
it's
up a little
good
bit.
to know that,
There's no player start.
that you can really rely
There.
on other people to give you some good feedback.
Yeah.
So this is beautiful. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Alright.
so that's all I have for you.
So I have that.
But is there anything you want to add?
Assets. Fab. So I have a gallery file here. Right. Lighting data. Let's import that battery crap.
Thinking of advice to give.
Import.
I felt like you gave like a
I wonder if
I'm not
this
gonna.
Okay,
set
here's something.
will actually work. If I import all of this, well, I have to kind of go through step by step.
Since we
We're gonna do it.
discussed learning music
Let's
theory and
see.
like where the heck to start.
Import.
I would say that to
Okay.
anyone who
So
wants to learn how to
I
write
definitely
music,
should change the origin of.
study the songs that you like, and
And
in
actually, should
particular, see
probably
if you can figure out
delete.
exactly
I
what
should
it is
probably
that they're
export
doing.
it from my.
And you'll learn
Probably.
a lot by doing that. I mean,
Alright.
I've learned most of what I know by studying songs that I liked. If you I had absolutely no idea how drums worked. I didn't even know what any of the individual drums were called, but I listened to a song that had a simple drum rhythm and it was like, okay, well, I'm going to figure this out. And so I just listened to the notes and tried to find samples in my drum library that sort of sounded like it. And, I learned how to write drum parts because of that. And so
What? I'm hearing
and
audio
that's
that
not
is
something that you ever
us.
stop doing. I
Is someone
mean,
crossing the
just
streams?
a
I don't
few
know.
months ago, I was writing a
I hope
song,
not. I'm
uh,
listening to Basil Tonic
and
over here.
I needed
We're almost done.
like a country drum kind of rhythm, and I'm like, I realized, and I had it pictured in my
Open
head, but
recent
I realized I
files,
had absolutely
yeah.
no idea how that sound was made, so I just looked on
Yes.
YouTube
Okay,
for
good. How are you doing,
examples,
Garion?
and
I hope you're
instantly
well.
saw like
I hope you're
exactly what
cool.
it was I was looking for.
For
It's like,
those of
okay,
you who are
well, that's
curious
how that
about
started,
our
you know.
operation at the
I mean, I
moment,
would say like the best thing you can do as
we are
a studying musician is to
do-
study
do-
actual music that's like
we're
that you like and that
importing this render,
the kinds of
this
things
object
you
that
want
we
to make, or
made
at least
here,
it has elements that
into
you
the
want
engine. It looks
to put
dope.
into your music. So
Yeah.
and that's here's the other part of that.
So I'm pretty happy with this. Like,
At first,
very happy with.
and I
You have a headache
I
and
talked about this
no
with,
headache medicine. I
with
mean, the
somebody
only thing that I can
the other
offer
day.
is
He
you
said that he
gotta
felt
fix your salt and water
showed us a
balance.
song for
Maybe
Christine K. He said
water.
that,
If you're feeling
he needed some
crazy,
boost, and he said
Gatorade.
that,
I like coconut water. You know,
he was afraid that he was
get out
like
there.
gonna sound too much
Get
like what
healthy.
it is that he was inspired by.
Yeah.
And that's a common fear, you know,
So
'cause you don't
we're
wanna, number one,
we've
you don't wanna
exported a
plagiarize, number two, you gotta
art
have your own
from
voice,
like
you
there's
know.
like that canopy
But,
kind of thing in here,
like,
this like giant dome mesh thing,
it's
and we're gonna put assets that
inevitable
we've already made.
or at least nearly
Like,
inevitable.
the path
uh,
isn't
that you are
really
going to
ready,
sound
right?
a lot like other people when you start.
But
Because when
like,
you start, you
do I have
know,
like the pylon or
writing
something?
music or doing any other kind of
Oh.
creative, or really anything, you're going to sound like
What
you're
are
gonna
you?
either be incoherent.
Like this guy, right?
because
This is like
you
one of
don't
the
know anything
first
about what
assets
you're
that we
doing,
got
so you're
into
just
the
putting
engine.
things in at random.
Also using the Quixel pipeline, but
Or
with
you're
like
gonna sound
little
like
to
somebody
no
else
skills,
because you're
right?
gonna be, because how do we learn anything?
Weak.
Like how do we learn language by imitating other people? And so
Do I have
and
what's
so
my pylon
there's
at?
going to be a period where a
It's
lot
like
of
there's
the
this
stuff that you
guy as
write
well, right?
just sounds like other people,
That's
and that's
better.
perfectly okay,
It's
and that's
interesting.
an expected part of the process.
But looking at all of these
And
things next to each other
as
will
you-
give us a sense of like, is that
So you kind of have to do that at the start.
we
and
require
then
more
as
pylons?
you grow
I
and as
agree.
you learn,
Am I ready?
find
There we go.
ways of
So we had this guy
manipulating
in Maya, and you can see how that turned out in our renders. Oh, somebody got
different
disconnected.
ways, and
They got reconnected.
in new ways that,
So this is our,
I mean, nobody's ever done
asset in
before.
Maya. You saw our
And
renders.
so
We
it
projected
does
all that
take
information onto
time
this
to
guy. So I mean, the difference is
to
stupid amount
develop
of
your own
polygons.
voice.
Like, we're
Okay,
talking hundreds of
So-
thousands
Yeah.
to
um,
thousands, 1,400.
that's good. to
So
know.
that's like
Um,
super
because
dope.
I know
So now I
that
need to
whether
export
it's
this guy, right?
drawing or
So
whatever
let's
I'm
export
doing,
selection
that when I start out,
as an
really fast to
FBX,
look at something else for
and that's gonna
reference,
go.
Mhm.
and
I have an
then
exports
something
folder
else.
probably.
Oh my God,
Assets,
it's exactly
exports.
the same, or,
Do I have a
you know?
battery?
But
No.
yeah, saying
Battery.
that it's like talking is a very good way to put it.
That
because
CER.
after a while you kinda develop your
Why?
own
I have a
twang or
preset for
whatever.
exporting
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with being influenced by other people.
user defined. I have like a
Because
MP neuron model thing.
well, if whatever you make
Export
sounds
selection. I made an
the
FBX
furthest
inside of
from anyone
Unreal.
else's work you've
I have
ever
a
heard in
folder
your
for this
life,
asset
it's probably also not going to relate to anybody but you.
that needs
So there's an advantage to
that needs love.
like
My textures are also in another
sounding
another
at least
location.
somewhat like
This
things that have
is
been
what
done
I sound
before,
like.
you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't
So
alienate
it's gonna be
people.
in my project.
Yeah.
Neuron
Yeah.
meshes, asset,
That's a good
export,
point. It's really refreshing.
battery, and I just have a secret
yeah,
number.
So that's all.
Just
Thank you for
you
this
know,
interview.
port.
Thank you. It was really
So
fun.
now I have this guy,
Yeah.
right?
Are you-
Yeah, and this
Um,
guy is gonna need some
It
love.
was really cool to talk to you.
I wish there was a
really nervous. I was
content
like,
browser
I
in this
never
view.
talked to him
Maybe I can get one. Can I
Yeah,
dock
I
it in
should get
here?
one involved.
Oh dang!
Yeah,
All right,
that would be
that's
awesome
cool.
if you can like put your stuff in plug zone or just
Yeah.
talk and whatever.
Plug your
Really
stuff
fun.
in the zone.
Um,
All right, so now let's import maps for this
so
asset.
Thank you once again.
So
did a
assets for
wonderful
this
job.
level. Um, we're gonna import a bunch of stuff. So from the desktop, I have a bunch of maps. Yay! So they're in flats. All of these guys. Import. Let's go. And then we're gonna import. From there, we're going to make a material that's gonna be for the battery. This will be matte fat battery. Unreal doesn't like spaces. I respect that. Here's our material editor. I think from this view we can pull references to the textures. That. And from here, I can apply this material. So the first thing that we'll see, I don't even know what that is. That's the normal data? Sweet. So, I'm just kind of rebuilding. Apply. So here's just that normal information. Making our mesh look ever so much sweeter. It's not bad, not bad. Alright, what else you got? Which texture are you? Roughness? That's rough. I will say, this person knows what they're up to. So, roughness. So now we have this kind of distortion going on. Let's apply it to our objects in the world. This thing has to recompile. Dun dun dun. Word. I don't know if I have to export the other thing separately. So which texture are you? Metallic? Right there. And of course, base color. So that's what our material looks like, which is not bad. Alright. So now we have our mesh back, our super sweet mesh. Looking super sweet, bro. I need to get this blue practically, like if I can get like a power, we can raise the contrast, and then I'm gonna multiply the blue channel up. I'm gonna preview
Thanks
that.
for listening to that interview.
Right.
If you want to listen to Joshua's song "Fragile Heart"
And
by
then
Girl, or check out
the
his
exponent
favorite
should be
project that
pretty
goes along with it,
ridiculous,
Looking Glass
because I am only interested in
just click the
these
links
trim,
below.
right?
We've also linked
So we'll
two
take this
songs used
and we'll
for
multiply
Fragile Heart of an
the
Alpha
output
Girl.
of that by the color
We've
that we
put
want.
links to his friend's networking
So
blog
I
and
want
Facebook
a
page if you need help
parameter,
networking and putting your stuff out there. And once
just like
again,
a
thank you for
constant
listening.
vector 3 kind of thing. Just give me a color.
Thanks once again to Sophie for managing the interview section, and thank you so much to Joshua for coming on the show. I think you provided
Vector
some
parameter,
great
nice.
insight into a
So vector
musician's
parameter
lifestyle
can be
and
the
how
color
they
that we're
work,
trying to
and
put
I
out.
really appreciate everything you brought to the table today.
So
I think
just
it was a
something
great
intense,
episode.
this kind of
So,
bluish
thanks again.
glow.
And
Okay.
with that out of the way, we're actually going
And
to
I
end off
wanna
today's podcast. But before I
multiply
leave,
that.
I'd just like to give some special thanks to some people and some plugs to some people today featured on the podcast.
I'm going to start
Grinfox,
previewing that
Power
node.
God, Saboka,
Now I have
and
this
Rick
like
Nichols
blue
provided
color.
the tracks
Yeah,
for
yeah.
today's track review session.
And we're gonna plug
I
this
really
into
appreciate them
emissive.
coming on the show. If you want
Yay.
to examine any more of their work, you'll find it in the description
Apply.
of this video. And they're just great friends, and I'm honored to know them. Angry Crow, one of
Hi.
the members of MintPotion, who helps review tracks with me today. I really appreciate the work he's been doing, and in general,
Save.
I really appreciate all the support MintPotion has given us, and it's really helped him to make this show something bigger than it already was. Along with that, I
So
just like
let's
to say
save our
thank you to
thing.
everyone listening today.
And
Without support
let's
from
drop
our
it into
viewers
the
and
world.
this show,
Something tells me
it would
that
not
we're
be
just gonna
possible.
get better as we
So,
go,
thanks so much
and
for listening. Thanks for continuing
that's
to
gonna
follow the
make
dream.
like all of these
That's
things
all I got for today. So,
like
take care, everyone.
pretty wicked. I gotta say though, I ain't mad at you. I can duplicate this node. See, I have this thing like pulsating down here. Also, there is another asset level already done. Pick up how to do this stuff. I feel inadequate comparing myself to people who are practicing. There are like, I think with each of the with these crazy complex games, there's a lot to cover. It's difficult to get everything you're going to want. Do I have my like gate or something? I don't know. This is empty. Content assets. Tab arc A. It's empty. I must have moved. There it is. Here's another asset from this series. Looking good. Scale is right. Ah, gosh, but these new ones are just looking so much better. Like, compare the first, second, third, and fourth. Like, it's kind of hard. Let's get a little bit more forward lighting here. Like, honestly, that's pretty good. That's, like, not bad at all. So, we're actually getting somewhere. Yeah, I just mean, like, motivated. Oh, okay, then do that. Yeah, I know what you mean by bipolar, for sure. Okay, well, I mean, stick around. Please ask questions, especially while I'm working. I'll be kind of doing this process multiple times for the rest of the month to unify the art direction of this stage a lot more. Like, right now we have something, but yeah, we're here, you know, Monday through Thursday, 3 to 5. Sometimes we play Sea of Thieves. I played the heck out of Warframe back in the day, so I think I might join you on that at some point. But like, yeah, man, I'm really happy with this. All right, so save our work. Be sure to save. That workflow is not bad, not bad at all. Especially since it kind of covered my butt in some cases. But like, you know, these are all using pretty much the same like physical-based rendering workflow, and I just, you know, I just want to toot my own horn for a second and say that this looks really freaking good. We can actually achieve a lot of the same effects that we had in our renders, like this junk, in Unreal. That's kind of why they have that there, not just to make your art look pretty, but to give you a sense of what post-processing is available. Because those same effects are available at runtime in the game. I kind of want to pull the pulse thing, but it's gonna take too much time. But we're definitely going to need more generic wall panels in Greeble. Gosh, that looks good. Yes. I'm glad I put in that time, I gotta say. That really worked out. Wow. There's a sandwich with my name on it. I hope wherever you are, there's a sandwich with your name on it. Hey, Grim Fox. Please stick around. Or come back, I should say, soon. For ADD and dog tracks, I think, which are going on today. I have to double check. See if I'm right about other people coming in. But here you can see our mesh in Quixel and how it looks in the engine, and I'm so down. That looks great. Let's rebuild lighting and stuff, because why not? Yeah, sandwiches. But there's definitely a lot. Brie cheese with maple syrup and brown sugar is amazing. I agree. I've had a baked brie once in my life, and it was crazy good. Oh, wrapping UVs, whatever. Seriously? What is that trash? Let's mix that up. There we go. Yes. That is like totally the design. The tracks that we are currently listening to, I have no idea. Delta if deated, frequency maniac. I'll heart it. You can check them out here. I kind of want to make this like kind of drum and bass jungle, pretty crazy. But I'm gonna mark everything for add, and let's see, double check my assets here. You're marked for add. You were checked in if you're an old asset. You are not done yet. You might be up next. You, let's mark all of you for add. You are all marked for addition. You are all marked for addition. Let's add all of this stuff to source control. And hang with us. You know, thank you for streaming with MintPotion. We'll have to play more games together, as I always say. That is like in the dimension of what I want to play, so like, especially this basic, like, you know, this is how you unwrap things. Going from there to there, that is pretty sweet. I mean, I'm willing to stop at this level of craziness and make everything about that crazy, but like, hot. Anyway, let's connect to source control, and that's gonna take forever. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon.